Hey there, and welcome. Let's be honest. English grammar can feel like a total maze sometimes, right? But don't worry. Today, we're going to clear up one of the most common mix-ups, when to use the present perfect versus the simple past. It's easier than you think.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with a classic grammar puzzle. Then, we'll look at words that describe things up to now. After that, we get to the real secret, the flexible adverbs. Then, it's your turn to try it out, and finally, we'll talk about why getting this right helps you sound so much more natural.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a real grammar head-scratcher. I bet you've been in this exact situation before.
Okay, take a look. Maria's just driven across town. Or Maria just drove across town. Which one do you think is correct? Maybe you feel strongly one way or the other, or maybe you're thinking, I'm not so sure. Well, stick with me, because the answer is actually really cool.
So to figure out our puzzle, we first need to get a handle on a few adverbs that play by some pretty strict rules. These are the words that build a bridge from something that happened in the past right up to this very moment.
Let's start with till now and so far. They look kind of similar, but they do totally different jobs. Till now, and you can also say until now, is almost always used with the negative present perfect. Think of it like this. It's for a single, continuous thing that hasn't been happening. On the flip side, so far is for actions that have happened over and over again up to now.
For instance, I haven't eaten anything till now. See that negative verb haven't eaten? It describes one continuous state, the state of not eating, that's been going on right up to this moment.
Now compare that to this. It has rained 3 times so far this week. This isn't one long, continuous thing, right? It's a repeated action. It rained, then it stopped, then it rained again. So far is perfect for counting up those repeated actions.
All right, now that we've got those stricter rules down, it's time for the plot twist. And this is where we finally get back to our friend Maria and her drive across town. And here it is, the big reveal. Adverbs like just, already, and yet are way more flexible than you might think. I know a lot of textbooks say you can only use them with the present perfect, but in the real world, especially in spoken American English, it is totally normal and totally correct to use them with the simple past, too.
This little chart says it all. I've just eaten is correct. And guess what? I just ate is also correct. Same thing with have you booked your flight yet? And did you book your flight yet? Both are perfectly natural. So let's circle all the way back to the beginning. Maria's just driven and Maria just drove are both correct. The simple past version, just drove, is just a little more common and casual in everyday American English.
Okay, enough of me talking. Let's make sure this all sinks in. It's time for you to put this new info into practice with a couple of quick challenges. You got this.
All right, first up, you just need to choose between so far or till now to fill in the blank. Just ask yourself, is this a repeated action or is it one continuous state? I'll give you a moment to think.
Ready? Let's check those answers. Number 1 is so far, because writing 3 papers is a repeated action. 2 and 3 get till now or until now because they're about a continuous state of not doing something. And number 4 is so far again. Having several interviews is definitely a repeated action. How do you do?
Awesome. Let's try one more quick one. This time, all you have to do is pop that adverb in the parentheses into its most natural spot in the sentence. Take a second and look them over.
Okay, let's see the results. As you can see, before and yet usually like to hang out at the end of the sentence. But ever and just, they like to snuggle in right before the main verb. Fantastic work.
So, we've solved the puzzle, we've done a little practice, but what's the big takeaway here? Why should you care? Let's wrap it all up with what I think is the most important lesson from all of this.
Here's the most important thing to remember. English isn't always about strict, black and white rules. So much of it comes down to context, style, and just what sounds natural. The fact that you can say, I just ate, isn't a grammar mistake. It's just a feature of how people really talk. It's about communicating clearly, not about following a textbook perfectly.
And that kind of leaves us with a little something to think about, doesn't it? This isn't the only rule in English that has some wiggle room. So I'll leave you with this question. What other grammar rules have you learned that seem to get bent or even broken in everyday conversation? It's pretty interesting when you start noticing them.
Hey, if you enjoyed finally getting a clear answer to this grammar puzzle and you want more simple explanations like this, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss out on what's next.
And a quick shout out to the American English Academy. All this great content was adapted from their awesome Smart Choice series. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.